fuck's a Mexican cookie? What are you talking about? It's like a chocolate chip with salsa all over it? What are you talking about? This is not good.
Brendan Schaub is quite literally the unfunniest comedian ever. Normally I wouldn't attack someone so harshly, but here's a list of things this douchebag has done, which in my eyes deserve every ounce of criticism he gets. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's watch some cringeworthy Brendan Schaub moments. One of my favorite reoccurring moments is when this big ass man baby struggles to pronounce the simplest of words.
Any milk. I don't like dairy. I don't like milk.
Yeah,
I don't like milk.
Milk is with an I, not an E, you fucking idiot. He's such a hypocrite because he makes fun of Brian Callen, his co-host, for mispronouncing words, but then he does the exact same thing.
Chef Orlovsky fight?
I did. Who's Orlovsky?
Not Orlovsky. Volkanovsky. Dude, Volkanovsky.
I want to die.
I didn't know they were on.
Niedermeyer, I think. I know I messed his name up. I think it's Niedermeyer. They got the Brazilian. So the three stars, they all play on the same
Oh,
team.
Neymar.
Oh, Niedermeyer. Dude, I'm such a big fan.
I love when he tries to roast people, but then it suddenly backfires, like that time he tried to roast Nick Swartzen.
Dude, Nick,
What?
how about your Vikings suck ass, though? Boom,
How about you look like a fucking Italian Lego, dude? Good God.
So I thought to myself, maybe his comedy specials are better. His comedy specials are even more cringeworthy. I don't know what the fuck Showtime was smoking when they gave this doofus an hour-long special, but whatever they're smoking, I want me some of that shit too. I feel like Brendan doesn't know how to edit his jokes because a lot of them are just way too long-winded.
The only thing that snapped me out of it, my father sitting cage side goes, Brendan! I'm like, oh shit, you right, Dad? You right. This has been our dream since I was 10. You're right, I'll focus now. Fuck Jack. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. I said, you know what? You've worked way too hard to give up now. You got this, big man. Fuck this noise. And I sprinted right at his big Hawaiian ass, just...
God damn, get to the fucking point. Most of his jokes are a super long setup and then an underwhelming punchline to follow. If I wanted to watch a TED Talk, then I'd watch a TED Talk, but I'm trying to laugh. Another thing that bothers me is the fact that there's no transition in between jokes. It's hard to follow his story sometimes when his out of control, CTE riddled brain keeps switching from topic to topic. Just think how long it must take for successful comedians to hone their craft. Most comedians spend close to a decade performing before they even sniff any sort of success. At this point, Brendan was only 2 years into the comedy game, and I mean, it shows. Look, I'm not trying to be the comedy police because I'm far from funny, but this just seems like lazy writing, especially considering that this was his leading joke.
Skin dude, he gives the best haircut ever. He's the only dude I let touch my hair. He's the best. He knew I had a big week, and I go to check in on Tuesday. I'm all, is Jesus here? They're all, no, bro, he didn't tell you? He took his kids to Disneyland. Motherfucker.
Imagine if I had a special and this was my joke.
Yo, so I went to the grocery store and I asked for guacamole, see if it was in stock, you know? And guess what the guy said? No. And I was like, motherfucker!
Then he eventually goes on and tells us how he got a new barber named Jamal.
They go, but don't sweat it, bro. We got Jamal here. He's very good. Just sit in the chair, he'll be right with you. So I sit in the chair, I'm thinking to myself, all right, clearly Jamal's a black dude. Gives a mean-ass haircut. This is gonna go well. I don't discriminate. This can be sick. Let's do it, Jamal. A few minutes go by, I'm like, all right, Jamal, let's do it, my man. About 5 minutes go by, I'm like, all right, I got shit to do, Jamal, let's do it. Then finally, after 10 minutes, this dude comes out of the bathroom, he's all, what's up, man? I'm Jamal. He was Asian as shit. Dicey. Whoa.
Look, this whole joke was pretty bad. The setup was bad and the payoff was even worse. I feel terrible for anyone who seriously bought tickets to hear Asian guy good at math jokes. I love a good joke about race or religion or gender or whatever, but I hate when I hear comedians do the typical black man loves basketball jokes. Whatever happened to being a creative comic, you know? Then later in the special, he makes another dumb hacky Asian joke and imitates one of the doctors at his UFC event he was fighting in.
This giant Asian doctor walks up to me and goes, Mr. Schaub, I'm sorry for your loss.
This is the person he was mocking, Greg Shue, and this is how the doctor really sounds.
I'm the UFC consultant physician. I take care of all the fighters.
Look, if you're gonna be racist, at least make sure it's a little funny and accurate. I feel like everything that comes out of this dude's mouth is just fake. And if you thought that was bad, listen to this nasty ass Hulk Hogan bit.
As a child, I fantasized about Hulk Hogan busting nuts. Oh shit! What's up, brother? Yes!
The only thing funny about this special is that it's rated 1.4 on IMDb. Now onto his second special from 2022. I'm sure this one will be so much better. Okay, we're off to a good start. Yeah, this shit smacks. First things first, what the hell is this set? I'm really loving the construction paper city he's got back there. I'm just picturing Brendan the night before decorating the set in his little skinny jeans that he always talks about. It's almost like Brendan didn't want anyone to find out where the special was shot. I think he was just trying to make his set seem more official than what it actually was. The special begins with him essentially just sucking off the crowd to win them over for what seems to be half the special.
What's up, Dallas? I love you, Texas. That's how it is. It's good to be in Dallas, man. You guys do it right. It's good to be in Dallas. I know. Absolutely love Texas, man. Yeah.
After all that, he starts talking about everyone's favorite funny topic, COVID. COVID humor is and was so played out even in 2022. I guess Brendan thinks it's funny when he over exaggerates his facial expressions. I feel like he doesn't think his written material is good enough, which I agree, so he has to resort to using Three Stooges types of facial expressions. It's just annoying. I guess according to Brendan Schaub, if he were in a gay relationship, they wouldn't ever have arguments.
Locked down, my girl was fighting with me the other week. We get locked down, we're fucked. She was fighting with me. Fucking Fauci, Delta, I think myself, oh my God, my life would be so much easier if I was just gay as shit.
I've never really been a fan of when comedians overly use their sex and race as talking points in their comedy routine, because a lot of the time they just end up using it as a crutch, but at least it's authentic to themselves. For like 75% of this special, Brendan uses his Mexican girlfriend almost to say, look guys, I'm Mexican too, I can make jokes about them, because I'm one of them. He says his girlfriend isn't Taco Bell Mexican, but Guadalajara Mexican.
I mean like Taco Bell Mexican. No. I'm talking Guadalajara. Born and raised. Came to the States 10 years ago. Illegally Mexican.
I feel like Brendan thinks he's Mexican because he dates one, but you're not, buddy. Brendan is the type of bloke to say nigga because he owns a black couch. I feel like a lot of Brendan Schaub's jokes have good premises, but the delivery just isn't there. My favorite part of this special is when he's talking to the predominantly white crowd as if he's talking to an audience of just Mexicans.
One of the many things I love about the Mexican culture is, and I do love your culture, man. One of the many things I love about it is you guys always have something to celebrate.
Look, I applaud him for even having the balls to step in the octagon, and even more so on the stage, but this comedy and podcasting shit has got to stop, bro. And comedy is subjective, so I get that some people might find him funny. You're wrong. He's just not funny to me. For anyone who's curious, I'm gonna start making exclusive content kind of like this on my Patreon, so if that's something that interests you, then check it out. Also, let me know how you guys feel about the good old Bappa in the comment section below. I'm Corey David. It's been fun chilling with you guys. Until next time, peace.